Yeah, so what I said was, Della said, we don't know what the Bearer of the Sacred Flame is into, and I said, I assumed some form of temperature play.
And our good ghost who would be really interested in that information.
Listen, I'm just saying, fuck around, find out.
No. No, thank you.
We can make that way more literal. If we're
so haunted.
The range of facial expressions that I'm experiencing right now.
No, I need
no, thank
you. Very normal right now.
To start flirting.
Being very normal.
We're having a normal one.
We're always having a normal one in this show.
What would you call it? David Lynch's The Bachelor?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
How did you know what this episode was, Steph? How did you know that's where we were going?
This is the fever dream sequence.
Steph, I had an asthma attack earlier. You can't do that.
The filter didn't kick in.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Send tweet.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, this is where we're starting, so God knows where we're going to go from here.
This is where we're starting. I apologize.
Echoing me, Della. Echoing me. I see how it is.
Didn't. I didn't know that was going to happen.
We are going to have some fun tonight, and I'm very excited. You know what? We're not in an unhinged rant outside of those unhinged statements, so I can actually have us somewhat go live when we're meant to officially go live. So hi, we are live from the apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that raises money for aid organizations and good causes. Currently, we are fundraising for Doctors Without Borders to support the very needed work that they are doing on the Gaza Strip, as well in other places experiencing atrocities right now. And so we ask that rather than subscribing at any point during the stream, you take whatever crypto money you would have given us through a subscription or channel points or anything like that, and instead you put it directly to Doctors Without Borders. You will find the donate button where the subscribe button usually is, because we have hidden that. If you are on mobile and therefore cannot find the donate button, you can type !donate at any time during the stream to get that link to pop up and donate that way. And again, we just ask that you throw whatever money you would have given to us through a subscription or bits or anything like that, just directly to Doctors Without Borders, at which point the McElroy brothers will yell, specifically at me. I will be thrown off, so please choose to do this during a pivotal moment where I might need to actually retain information, and if I were to lose it, it will help the cast of lovely characters maybe not die. Don't worry about it. We've only had one person die on this channel, and it's only happened once, and I'm sure it's fine, so don't worry about it. And they're not really dead, so who knows? Why are you all looking at me so skeptically?
Now I'm remembering the image we ended on.
We did indeed end on that image. Yep.
Yeah, I just Thurston angry face was my note.
As it should have been. To continue with a few housekeeping things, we cannot stop you from subscribing. We've just made it hard for you to do so. But if you do have an Amazon Prime sub or something like that to throw our way, we cannot stop you. If you choose to find the subscribe button, you can click it. Just know that for every month you are subscribed, beloved Dimension 20 Dungeon Master Brennan Lee Mulligan will kill one dog. Some months that is a lot of dogs. Sometimes that is like 60 dogs. So don't contribute to that number. Just give the money to Doctors Without Borders. I think that's all the housekeeping I have to do. This is Redacted. This is a psychological horror game. We will go over this as well in coming back from break, but this game does deal with a lot of content warnings and potentially triggering material. And this includes cults and cult activity, manipulation and gaslighting, ritualistic murder. We have had themes of suicide before, drowning has come up, medical abuse and neglect, forced institutionalization, all are topics that may come up, burning and being burned as well. All may come up during the course of tonight's session. If there are things outside of that, I will do my best to make note of that before the content comes on stream. But if any of those for you are going to cross lines, please do not force yourself to watch this. We have plenty of other content that does not involve these types of materials, and we would rather you take care of yourself and prioritize your well-being. Now, I think I can get to introductions, which are getting so much more interesting in this game because, well, there's a lot of people inside of you. So, with that, Steph, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, introduce your cast of characters, and remind us who currently is in control.
Who is currently in control? Did I write that down? I'm pretty sure it was Kai.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I don't think it was Rebecca. No, it was not. I wrote it down amazingly. It was Kai. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm playing Kai Caldwell. He's the Martyr playbook. I also will be playing the classic Wet Rat, Rebecca Dalton. She is the villain playbook. She may appear tonight. You may also see Mrs. Ivy Finley. She is the hero playbook. And my most recent and final ghost acquisition is my ghost from the 1970s, the Sage, Harlow Keats. So that'll be a fun one to meet. Hope they come out.
All very normal things happening here.
So normal. So many ghosts.
All right, Q, you are up next.
Hi, I'm Q. Tonight I'm going to be playing just some normal guys, starting with Weston, who is the villain playbook, Raven, the trickster. Currently, I am Christian, the hero, and also Russell, the child.
That's right. We've got many of your ghosts currently out and about.
Miss Guzzi? What was that? I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about that. Just, quick recap. We have Kai and we have Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Della, you are up next.
You're muted.
Yeah. I couldn't tell for a moment because we've had a little bit of a delay, but yes, you are
Yeah,
muted.
no, I'm muted. I muted myself to let the dog in, so it's really Bazooka's fault. You hear that? Anyway, hi, I'm Della. I am playing a whole cavalcade of delightful individuals. The name on the driver's license is Rachel Blauhair, who is the parent playbook. Following her is Siobhan Orion. I remembered her last name this time. And then there is Dr. James Finley, who is the Dragon playbook. And then there's the villain.
We love and hate it when that voice comes out every time.
Every time.
Every time.
I'm really not looking forward to having to potentially ever do a full session in that voice. I'm going to die.
I would rather you take care of your vocal cords.
Listen, I'm committed to the bit.
And last but not least, Cass.
Speaking of the dogs, I scampered away to force mine out because I took her squeaky toy away from her.
You
so she wouldn't
monster.
squeak on stream. So anyway, hi, I'm Cass, and tonight I am playing Mara Voss and Gwydion Abel and Anna Weissager, and currently Abraham Dalton, Rebecca's totally normal, excellent father.
Those were all
It's a great
very
family.
believable words. Yeah.
I'd forgotten about Abraham. Actually, I'm not sure I forgot. I think I might have like blocked him out.
Blacked out. Yep.
Just fully just like,
Yeah.
no, nothing that bad could have happened in this game.
No.
And I'm listing their playbooks, right? So Mara is the doctor, Gwydion is the trickster, Anna is the sage, and Abraham is what he is, the parent.
Anna's the sage.
Anna's the sage.
That's given mad.
She's what you have to
Interesting.
burn to make everything clean. Let
True
me be
that.
very clear.
True that. It's given mad Malkavian energy.
Yeah, no, very, very much.
Absolutely.
Like she is
Yeah.
a product. When I was making her, I was like, oh yeah, MK Ultra happened.
Yeah, Kat's just like dropped in my DMs, just being like, "What do we think about MK Ultra?" And I was like, "What do we think about that?"
Just like, explain.
She was a woman who stared at goats, didn't really see anything with it. But the remote viewing via copious amounts of LSD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what she saw was Hot Man in the Woods. Maybe fixated a little bit.
Yeah, just fucking grip it,
Staring at the goat.
baby. Slop
Hey.
that down,
Thank
dude.
you.
Yeah, dude.
Thank
Crack
you,
one for the
Della.
big boy.
I decided not to wait until a dramatic moment and decided that we should probably stack up those survival blocks early.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I don't know why anything bad would ever happen on this island in the 48 hours you've been here.
But we have made it 2 whole days.
You have.
David Lynch's 24 is over.
Gone into the second season.
Second season, yeah.
Second arc.
Dawn of the second day.
Exactly.
Look,
Exactly.
if we make
the
it to
vibes.
28 days later, have we succeeded?
No.
Mm.
We fucked up
Never leaving the
somewhere.
island at that point. Yeah,
This
it's
island
gone
gets
bad.
run over by zombies.
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
It might be the best thing for it, honestly.
Yeah, we took a wrong turn at Albuquerque, and I don't even remember traveling.
And so I think with that, we are going to have the chance to dive right in. And much like other sessions, I'd like for you to get to experience what is happening elsewhere. You all, of course, are at the hospital getting a nice rest after bringing Mayor Marcus Hart in after hitting him with your car and his condition rapidly decompensating. But we don't start there. We start over at the police station in an interrogation room. Fluorescent lights are buzzing. The table is made of steel. And there is a figure handcuffed to it. Isaiah Carpenter's younger brother, Scott. On one side of him is a plastic cup filled with water. On the other a cup of coffee that has long gone cold. And Detective Winters is sitting across from him. A very thick file sitting out on the table to his left. He glances over at it, opens it, but not enough that we can clearly see what's inside. There are handwritten and typed notes, there are photographs, but we only catch the barest glimpse before he closes it again. He runs his hand through his hair and sighs. And looks over at Scott, who is studiously not looking at him, looking anywhere else. The ceiling, at the floor, at the table. Detective Winter says, "All right, let's start at the top again. When was the last time you saw Abigail?" And Scott narrows his eyes and shakes his head. That's not her name. Detective Winters looks down at the file as though that will give him an answer and says, "I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong case file. I meant Hannah." And Scott is now looking at Detective Winters and he looks angry. That's not her fucking name either. You know what her name is. Detective Winters folds his hands on the table and asks Scott, "Do you? What is her name?" Scott shakes his head. "Why are you asking for details you already know? Why are you fucking with me like this?" And it is so abundantly clear that if he could move his arms enough to cross them, he would be doing so. He would be leaning back. But he's stuck in the position that he's in, and so all he can really do is glare. And Detective Winters purses his lips. "Answer the question, Scott. When was the last time you saw her?" "Last time I saw her, she was on the fucking merry-go-round on the park." Or was she on the slide? I I I don't, I'm not, you know what? Fuck you. I just seen my girlfriend's dead body. The details aren't important. You know where you found her. Why are you asking me?" Detective Winters takes out a fresh piece of paper from that file, one that there is no writing on, and starts to take notes. But he clearly has had something confirmed for him. "All right, you're telling me where you found her body. What about before then, Isaiah?" And Scott freezes and shakes his head and says, "You know my name isn't Isaiah. You know that's my brother. I don't know why you're doing this. I don't know why you keep throwing names out there that aren't mine, that aren't hers. I don't know what's going on, but if this is some sort of fucked up interrogation technique, it's not gonna work." And Detective Winters just calmly says, "My apologies. before you found her body on the playground, when was the last time you saw her? I told you we got separated after a fight at the campaign event for Mayor Hart. No. No, fuck. We were at the fair. No, it was at a concert at the bar. And he trails off and his eyes are wide and panicked. And he looks at one of the cups, namely the cup of water since that's emptier, and says, "What the fuck is going on here, man? Did you fucking dose me or something? Why can't I remember what happened? That was only a few days ago." Detective Winters ignores those questions and just asks, "What did the two of you fight about?" Fuck you. Why don't I remember the last time I saw her? Why is it like I remember all of those things happening, even though that's not possible? Detective Winters steeples his fingers. I don't think you want me to answer that, Scott. I don't think you're ready for that answer. If this is some sick fucking way to get me to confess, but Scott is cut off before he can say more. It's not. It's happening to all of us. Some of us are just more aware of it than others. And then Detective Winter stands. I know you didn't kill her, Scott. Then why the fuck am I here? Scott asks. And when Detective Winters doesn't answer, he repeats the question more insistently, banging the chains of the cuffs against the table as he pulls on them. Why the fuck am I here if you know I didn't kill her, Detective? Detective Winters stares out towards the two-way glass in the back of the room, at the figures that can't be seen but that he knows are there. And he simply says, "Because, Scott, this is where the script says you're meant to be." Anyways. I love how I can hear Steph through the wall even though she's muted.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm not.
Shenanigans is what?
Shenanigans.
Shenaniganery
Getting to the
of the
fucking
highest
bit.
order.
We're having a normal one here, and the best part of all of this is that none of you know that this conversation has happened. In fact, all of you are getting some much needed rest at the hospital. I'm curious, and I'd like to hear from each of you. Actually, that's a lie. I would like for each of you to roll with Shadow.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to do it. I refuse. Whose shadow am I rolling with?
Whoever is in charge of the body currently.
Completely forget who I left in charge.
It was Rachel.
Yep, it was
All right.
Rachel.
It was Rachel.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Because she hated boxcars, baby, which is great because it's a flat roll.
That
yeah,
must
she
be
hated Abraham.
nice. I got a 6 with my +2.
Oh
Hear me out. I
no.
got
Is
real
that
scared.
insight, JD, or psychic damage?
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, both.
Beautiful. Both?
One of
Okay,
my die
cool.
was cocked. So the one that wasn't was a 2, but the other one was a 6, so I got 8.
Nice.
I got a 9.
9.
F's for Kai. Mm-hmm. I don't like that look. Scheming face.
I just
Don't
had to
like
make
it.
a few
Like it.
notes, and so, all right. I'm not going to take you through a whole world of nightmares. We're not gonna spend another episode exploring those elements of your subconscious this time around. But starting with Kai.
Fuck. Okay.
You don't sleep well. Which I suppose is not surprising after everything that has happened, but the reason you don't sleep well is because you keep finding yourself back in that maze of hallways and tunnels in the old tuberculosis ward. And you hear those footsteps always right on your heels. Sometimes they're further away. Sometimes there's some distance. You know you have at least a corridor between the two of you. But sometimes they're so close that you can feel the breath on the back of your neck. And there comes a moment, I imagine, you start to panic. You start to run, as would anyone in this situation. Twist and turn and convince yourself that if you make enough sharp turns, this thing, this shadow double of you, can't possibly find you. And you turn a corner and run right into them. Their hands grabbing your shoulders, bringing you face to face. And for a moment, it looks like your own face. But then it changes. And I'm curious, Kai, whose face do you see there?
I think he sees Rebecca's face. He doesn't know what she looks like really, but now he does. The limp dark hair, the dark blue eyes, the very not as pallid as he expected given her disposition. Freckles on the nose, but there's shadows under the eyes. But just looking in the eyes, he's like, this is Rebecca.
What is the expression on Rebecca's face?
distraught.
What does seeing that distraught expression evoke in Kai?
He doesn't like to draw comparisons between Rebecca and himself or anyone he cares about, but it reminds him of himself as a teenager, knowing that he's not ever going to be the child his parents wanted. He's never going to match his older brother. But it also, the expression stabs a bit deeper because he recognizes his best friend Jess's face, the expression she would make when her parents were having that messy divorce, when she would sneak out or they'd sneak off from school and she'd rant about some new way her father was trying to alienate her from her mother, how he was trying to map out her life for her, how she felt like she was just being puppeted around. Just that sense of a rat in a maze, trying to find a way out, but you have no way of controlling where the exit is because you're not the one running the experiment. He doesn't like that, seeing that on Rebecca's face.
And I think not liking seeing that, Kai, this could have been a really powerful moment between you and Rebecca. This could have been a moment where you offered her comfort, where that similarity and that recognition allowed the two of you to build a bridge. And I think that scares you so much that you respond almost instinctively. You could have embraced her, you could have hugged her, and instead you push her away. And you see her stumble back and fall. And then you are the one falling, but only briefly, because you jerk awake, still in that hospital room, realizing that a very limited amount of time has gone by, and you have not gotten much sleep, though sleep certainly seems hard to come by.
Just very clammy and sweaty and just rolls over and tries to settle his brain and just process what he just saw and how he responded. Just because I think the initial instinct of, fuck this, I'm out, but now with being awake and getting some clarity, it's just like, I might have fucked up.
You only catch a flicker of this, Kai, before it changes, but being awake while most of the others are asleep in this moment, the television screen flickers. And it does it a few times. First time just kind of startles you. Then it's dark again, but Then it flickers on again and again, and you see that familiar form of Dr. Thurston, all white suit. And you're not quite sure because, again, you only get these few seconds of flashes, but it is deeply unsettling. Not just because it's him, but because the vibes are almost like a children's show.
Rancid.
Like he's gearing up to teach a lesson on letters of the alphabet and things like that. Again, that's just the vibe you get. You're not completely sure, but the images flash on and off.
It's a pretty specific vibe. I don't know what else that could be.
But then the screen is just dark. So I wouldn't worry about that.
He's worried about that bit. You're gonna make Raph so happy with that. Congrats. I hate it. I hate it. What was this Candle Cove shit? Ugh. Any more horrors for me? Or is that about my night?
That's about your night. I think after seeing all of that, you're just a little too unsettled to go back to sleep. So you maybe get a little bit, but it is not restful.
Wonderful for him.
Christian, on the other hand, you had a partial success. And so I'm curious. I'm curious what Christian's reaction is as he walks into what would be to Weston a familiar boardroom and sees the other three sitting in there. Weston, Russell, and Raven.
Give me 1 second.
I detect.
So
shit.
Christian just walks the fuck back out like that Simpsons meme. Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just fades into the wall.
No. My father decided that right this moment was when he was going to vacuum. So that's.
Okay, but the timing could not have been
It just
more
looked like you were like,
perfect.
I'm just gonna go. So
Gonna do. Excuse me. No.
it just looked like you were like, I'm gonna dip out the stream. Actually, just gonna know.
Okay. All right. So I'm in a boardroom. Who's there?
Raven, Weston, and Russell.
Oh. Hi there. I think. Are y'all the other ones in the head that in the body that I'm currently inhabiting? I'm Christian. Christian Winters. Hi. I've never done something like this before. Also, this is a very, very swanky room that you have here. If someone doesn't break the silence, I will continue to ramble. So I do apologize.
I'm curious, Q, if you have thoughts, who would speak first?
Speak? probably Russell. React, Weston. Russell just gives a little wave. Hi, I'm Russell. Which, Christian will wave and smile back. Weston, after the first preamble ramble, just sort of rolled his eyes and crossed his arms. Raven is nonplussed, amused. Actually, is more accurate. Just sort of watching the train wreck that is this man.
How does Christian feel seeing these other three?
It's interesting being able to sort of put a pin in the different times, like in the different eras, just on the way that they look. I think seeing each of them, there's a million questions that each try and fight to bubble up to the surface to come out, which leaves him sort of stuck and not saying much of anything at all. I wonder if he's been able to dig around a little bit in the mentals, as it were. I think there's a bit of judgment for the two adults, not the child. The child was in a shit situation. He is immediately in must protect. That is good boy, safe boy. The other two, you've certainly made some choices in your lives. I've read the good book, and it says something about your activities, all of them. I think Weston has broken at least 5 of the commandments. Like, that's just off the top of the head. So what's the plan here exactly? What are we doing? What do you need from me? How can I help?
And I'm imagining that there kind of remains this uncomfortable silence and air of judgment and distaste with, Russell's warmer presence and Raven's observation of the dynamics in this room. And I'm imagining Christian just like with that nervous energy that you start to move around the room just to have something to do.
Yes, I think his hands start moving first. He's always got to be doing something with his hands. So if there's a pen and a pad, they find themselves in his hands immediately. I think there's the regular, tick of him putting it behind his ear, then taking it off to maybe start scribbling something. No, I'm fairly certain that most of y'all are pretty chatty and talkative. So I would love to know why Cat suddenly has the tongue. In this case, we're all sharing one vessel, so I suppose I figured, we'd get along, or try to at least. Y'all seem to have it pretty figured out. I know I'm new here, but we are all connected after all.
And Christian, you're keeping your hands occupied, and you start moving around the room. And I don't know if you mean to pause at the large window at the back, the one, well, it should be overlooking a city, but there's just darkness beyond that you really can't see through. And you're not sure you'd want to, because you realize as you're looking out that the darkness isn't static, it is undulating. And you don't want to know what that means, which I think is very fair. But even more than the darkness, what I think catches your attention is what you see reflected back in the glass. And you focus on the first part of this much more than the second, but I think the second lodges in your mind as something to unpack at a later date, because you initially see yourself surrounded by the dead girls, just like you were in that staff lounge. Water dripping, hands almost touching you. But you also see the table and the chairs of the boardroom that the others are sitting in. Raven, I kind of imagine just leaning back. Russell, cross-legged, leaning up on the table to be able to draw on something.
Mhm.
Weston looking poised as always. And you see a fourth chair with a shadow in it. And that shadow turns, swivels the chair that they're sitting in towards you. And they smile. And yes, you hate that, because everything is darkness, but those teeth are glinting white.
Everyone's face is the same. Everyone's face. Very nobody.
No one liked that.
Scylla isn't here to eat it.
Right. We do not have superior
Scylla's
teeth on our
not here. There's
side
no
right now.
superior teeth to be found.
Question for you.
Mm-mm.
How close is the shadow to Russell?
It's a good question. 2 chairs down.
Okay. Then I'm gonna ignore the girls around me. I've already given my apology. It's up to them whether or not they accept it. I am going to move to put myself between the shadow and Russell.
And you go to do that, Christian. You take that action as a hero. and you interpose yourself between the shadow and Russell. And Christian hasn't experienced this, but some of the others have. Because, much like happened before, the world seems to shatter around you, but you're in a dream. It isn't like that moment with the confrontation with Dr. Thurston. It resembles it, though. The boardroom falls away. And I'm wondering, were Christian to take Russell somewhere safe, what would that place be?
I think for Christian, it would probably be his Meemaw's house. It was the place where he was most allowed to be himself and not what everyone else expected him to be. Even when he was an older boy, uh, he would run off to Meemaw after a hard day, a day of not being well understood.
And I think as your dream enters this new space, and it is just Christian and Russell, that you have a chance to give Russell that same feeling of acceptance and safety. And that time passes peacefully.
I know it looks a little scary, but it's going to be all right. I promise.
And when you wake up, Christian, you feel calm. You as calm as you ever feel because you have a lot of nervous energy. But
Correct. Listen, listen, go retriever energy. I didn't mean to, but here we are.
you have actually gotten a solid night of sleep.
Hmm, it feels good.
And we're gonna jump over to Rachel. And for you, Rachel,
Mhm.
your mind is going over everything that just happened. You are thinking about the moment that the car hit Marcus. You are thinking about the steps that you needed to take to try and stabilize him, to do what you could to keep him alive until you could get him to the hospital. And you're thinking about that, of course, this is not the first time you've had to do that.
Mhm. Sure wasn't.
And while your mind would naturally gravitate toward other times that you tried to hold people's bodies together to stop blood from pumping out of them, you don't think about those previous events. You think about what you couldn't do for Sophie.
That shouldn't have happened.
What could you have done differently?
I think I shouldn't have shot her. I shouldn't have shot Thurston. I shouldn't have trusted liminal space to stay liminal. I should have, I don't know, I should have done more back and shoulder workouts so as I could have dragged her out of there faster. I should have, I should have got Finley to do it. Should have let Finley do it. He could have done it. But Siobhan did it. Maybe I could have done it. But we had Siobhan do it. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve to have to be the one to do that. She's not built for it. When you do an after action report, you always try to think of what you could do better next time. And I hope to a God I haven't prayed to in a very long time that we never have to go through something like that again. And I do not believe my prayer will be answered in the positive. Next time, I'll see what happens if we can act in concert. All of us. Maybe that'll be enough.
I'm imagining in this moment that Rachel is perhaps inadvertently, perhaps not, saying this out loud as she returns to that moment in the tunnel, that moment where the actions were not enough to save Sophie. And I'm wondering, as Rachel kneels on the floor, looking down at Sophie, what Dr. Finley's response is as he walks in to see the same scene, to hear Rachel's reflections on this.
Dr. Finley crouches down across from Rachel and kind of mirrors her hands going through those same steps. A couple of times he sort of bats her hand away and does something just a little bit more efficiently, a little bit more professionally. I don't think I could have done any better. What you want me to do is not something that is within my power. I am not all powerful. I am not given power over life and death. Only death. It I cannot reverse. She was dead when you pulled her out. Burns like this do not kill quickly, but they kill. I've seen your memories. I've seen the extent of medical technology, and I crave that. What wonders could we have wrought? How much less awful could the Great War have been? Had so many lives been saved? Do you know I had brothers? But no. You could have saved them, perhaps, if you had. Ahos was with you in this moment.
And what about Siobhan as she enters this scene?
Siobhan walks in and sort of also crouches down next to Sophie, and I think she takes one of Sophie's hands and sort of holds her hand, sort of stroking the back of her hand. And she says, I said no more dead girls. I promised something that I thought, I made a promise I thought I could keep, and now I just have to make it true from here on out. No more dead girl. Never again.
And where does the bearer of the sacred flame watch this moment from?
Bearer of the sacred flame steps through the burning walls, the tunnel they pulled Sophie from. Their skin is black, crusted, not black like African American, black like burnt meat. They say, she died clean. His death is sacred. Hell rend this veil asunder. Excuse me, sorry. Let me try that again. They'll rend this veil asunder. And we will bless those responsible with equal joys. Let none drown.
I was gonna say nobody liked that, but I think that's a lie because someone definitely did.
I think Cass might have liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nope, correct.
You mean Anna and Cass? Yeah.
Yep. What do the others do? And I'm going to make an assumption here, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but what did the others do to get Sophie away from this horrifying figure?
I think Siobhan immediately interposes herself, full on, just back off. Rachel, who is wonderful but not all that creative, pulls a gun. It's what she does. It's what she knows. Finley's shadow is a wing that covers her body. He just stands there. He says, "Your methods are barbaric. Your ideas I would hear more of."
And there is a moment as there is this standoff, yet also in some ways more of a welcoming hand than there has been. And in that moment, Rachel, it's like you get a flash. Almost like you were remote viewing. But what is particularly jarring about this is you realize you were watching this from a third person perspective, which is strange because you're suddenly not in any of these bodies and you're not entirely sure you ever were. You're watching this like a viewer. But then you're clearly changing perspectives because what you see next is first person. And it isn't the hallway that you were just in. It is what looks like a lab. And there is what you think might be a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. It looks somewhat like that, but it's filled with something. It's filled with some sort of liquid. It isn't air. And Sophie's body is floating inside of it.
What in the James Cameron?
And then it's like the feed cuts out. And for you, Rachel, the rest of the night passes with no other dreams. I have to ask a question I've been dreading since the moment the dice were rolled. Pass.
Yeah.
What would be a good dream to Abraham?
Oh, yeah. That is a bad question. Hold on, I gotta think about that. As my chair decides to drop me 3 inches.
I've been reading this book by Ada Palmer. It's the second in the series of the first, which is Too Like the Lightning, and this book makes me feel like greasy. I'm really worried that this is going to also make me feel greasy.
Mm-hmm. So what decade were we in for the was it the 30s?
I believe so. Yes, I was just
Okay,
double
so we're
checking
into
that.
the Great Depression.
Yeah, mid-30s.
Rebecca
Yeah.
was how old roughly?
She was in her... She lived up to be early to mid-20s.
Okay. Okay. A good dream for Abraham is him being very proud of his daughter. He is sitting in the back of the church, standing in the back of the church, watching her minister to the poor. And he feels pride and like she is doing this because of him. Like he has created the perfect person and she is doing something he approves of. And so he is proud of her. He doesn't particularly care about the poor. He doesn't particularly care about her feelings in this matter. But it looks good. And he likes that. And yeah. And he also probably sees her publicly rebuff Isaiah, which he also likes. He doesn't like Isaiah.
He gets one good point
Mm,
for that.
not a, yeah. So he's standing in the church.
Abraham, you are standing there and you are watching your daughter do all of the things that would have pleased you had she done them. And I think what also pleases you, probably not as much, but in a way, and you'll have to let me know where you see these different figures, if any of them are even allowed in the church, this being a sacred space, or if you are just aware of their placement outside of the church. But I think what makes you very happy is to know that, well, Mara, Gwydion, and Anna have no power here. Whether it is that you see them kneeling, sitting in the pews, silent and quiet, whether it is that they are left locked outside, you have complete control. They have none.
All are welcome in the church, so long as they know their place before God.
And so tell me, Abraham, how respectfully are each of them behaving?
Anna is shoved into a nun's habit and being gently pushed into the confessional. Gwydion is mounted on the crucifix over the altar. And Abraham does not know what to do with Mara. So Mara is standing next to his daughter, ministering to the poor.
Abraham, you survey the space. I'm curious, in this version of the church, what mural adorns the wall?
I imagine it is still the one he paid for in more ways than one. Sorry. Cue, bro.
My bad.
Like,
That was a lot to process right there. Incredible. What about the one that he didn't pay for in more ways than one? What about the one where Isaiah went rogue? The one of Siobhan.
oh, that's the one I was talking about. Okay. Um
Okay.
What?
That
Oh
he
yeah.
couldn't
then-
have paid for a mural of the girls.
Sorry,
Are you
what?
kidding me?
Why'd he pay for a mural of Siobhan?
Wasn't supposed to be Siobhan.
that completely tracks.
Oh shit.
And so the other mural, the one commemorating the other dead girls, doesn't exist.
I think it exists, but their faces are blurs because they don't matter to him.
I am curious, in light of what you said, in light of those words, that it was not meant to be Siobhan. Is it still Siobhan's face in that mural?
No. It's his little girls.
Still gross.
The thing is, Abraham, as you look around, a place for everything and everything in its place.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said pride before, some pride, at least to an extent, in seeing Rebecca do as she has been told. What feeling do you get as you step back and look at the overarching picture of the dead girls with their blurred faces because their identities never mattered, of your daughter's image painted the way it was always meant to be seen, of religion, we may say, forced on those who have been heathens, and of your daughter standing up there, being at least somewhat what she could have been. How do you feel?
The word consternation comes to mind because Abraham is not a happy man. This should be everything that he wants and needs. And yet, he also knows it to be false. Still a good dream, but it isn't real.
And Abraham, what is one to do when they can see that perfection almost in reach, but they realize it is just a dream?
Abraham was quite good at making his dreams come true. I think he'd walk up to Mara and Rebecca. He didn't say it often in life, but he did occasionally say it. He would tell his daughter he was proud of her when she earned it. But he would look at Mara, glancing up at Gwydion crucified above them. And ask, why do you let him keep us separate? And I don't know that Mara has an answer for that.
And Abraham, when you wake up feeling rested, you feel a crack in the wall that separates you from Mara.
All right.
And that, I think, is where we're going to take our break for tonight.
I don't perceive there being any ramifications of any of these actions. I think these are all
Two
actually.
walls cracked.
Everything.
It's fine.
I think everything's actually going to be fine, and maybe we'll all even be better off.
I don't know. I don't know.
Look,
Find out in RP.
look.
Plan to find out what happens, man.
Or,
Pavlovian fucking response to that now. Like, just cannot.
We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Nope.
Yelled at me the other night because I got home and I made ramen with like 2 heaping tablespoons of gochujang and then a little bit of my bottle of sauce. And when I say a little bit, I mean another tablespoon of my bottle of sauce from Hattie B's.
incredible.
And in our little group chat, I was like, I made my spicy ramen tonight. And I posted a video of me just eating it without reacting because it's not that spicy to me. And she yelled at me. And she apparently showed her mom, and her mom, like, she's Korean, her family's Korean. Her mom, she explained to her how much spice was in there to her mother, and her mother, I got an angry selfie from her mom back. But I had to remind her that she had to ask every restaurant person in Korea when we were there in October when I said I wanted it spicier, I meant it. Like, because I don't speak Korean, she does. And she was just like, no. Like, I specifically, like, I asked her like what the phrase was. And she's like, I can't teach you that phrase because it means not white people spicy. And I can't tell you how to say that to a Korean person from you.
I was gonna be like, no, don't give her white spicy, give her legit spicy.
literally the conversation she had with this little Ajima in this like hole on the wall shop we found one day. And I was like, make it so my face melts off. And then I'm happy.
Incredible. I've done my first like iteration of it and it was real good. I was very proud with the chicken that I made. I'm gonna actually try and make like a broth.
Dude.
Yeah. I'll show you my progress. I made some quick pickles. That was dope. Yeah, it was all from scratch. I got to figure out like what else to put in it, so it's not just
For quick pickles, you want a good spicy quick pickle. You put some hot sauce in your brine, and you put some garlic.
Yeah.
And then, hear me out here.
I'm listening.
You put a little bit of sugar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. Never mind. We're good.
Yeah.
Because I say add sugar to pickles, and we were like, I don't like bread and butter, and I'm like, no, it makes it spicier.
And you've got to put sugar in like long-term pickles, like otherwise that it fucks up the balance. It fucks up the flavor balance.
Baby child, you cannot lay there.
Salt. If you don't know it, it's all a balance. Oh,
Nope.
No, that was the dog being
Big
upset.
mad.
I picked the cat up.
I thought that was the dog like getting that's the sound
jealous.
I run her paw over
That was
or touch her.
Jealous Mako.
Wow.
Chuck, I need to write in that notebook, sweet child.
I have a question.
Immediate jealousy. Just like, no.
Oh, just absolute.
It's related to the frying of chicken, i.e., how I fuck it up. I fuck it up every time. I don't know how.
It's okay. It's okay.
How am I so bad?
Breading?
I can fry fish. I can double bread and fry fish. I fry fish. No worries.
Are you using your paper bag?
I don't use a paper bag.
Gotta use paper bag.
Gotta use paper bag. Is that all right?
My grandma did it.
Okay. Okay, that's all.
So it's just a patience thing.
Yeah, fish is so quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And your oil has to be exactly hot enough.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
JD happily vegetarian listening to this, like, sure, yeah, okay.
I'm like, you know what? We're doing some LFTA cooking tips and tricks. Like, that is totally a valid thing to do on this stream.
Yeah. And I will say, Della, to perfect your method, do tenders first. Bone-in chicken fries a little differently.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Boneless. Like if you're learning how to cook and how to fry, boneless first.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's going to be probably the most like, because again, I can fry fish. I can fry fish, no worries.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I had gotten raw chicken or usually it's burnt breading and raw chicken is what I'm getting because I'm putting
Mhm.
my oil's too hot and I'm being impatient.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
For if the oil is too hot, add more pieces
Mhm.
at a time.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
It
mean I
brings
shouldn't just throw in an ice cube?
you,
Bella, the reaction you got was what I gave to my brother when he told me he put water in grease one time.
Ooh.
No!
Oh, my
I
life would
saw
flash before my eyes right there, and I was like, I wasn't even doing it.
I saw a video once of somebody who took, like in a restaurant, you get like when you clean out the ice machine, the big chunk of ice. I saw somebody huck one of those into like a full restaurant deep fat fryer.
Okay.
Yeah, it exploded.
I have a story.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
So-
Yeah, it was
Okay.
real bad.
So I will not name this restaurant because it is still very active. And it's a great restaurant. There was an idiot I worked with when I lived in Illinois, whose job was to change the grease at the end of the week in this restaurant that is very well known for its fried chicken. It's honestly the best fried chicken I've had outside the South. So, they had something right. 18 fryers in this place. Okay. So he had 18 fryers worth of oil to change at the end on Sunday night. Right.
So scared.
Dumbass took a break.
No. No.
Dumbass took a break.
Please no.
Went and got his little steel water bottle. Filled it up with ice because the kitchen's hot enough that like even in a steel bottle, that like insulated bottle, it's gonna melt. It's gonna be nice and cold. Dumbass, dumb of ass, dropped that capless steel water bottle into a fryer on a Sunday night.
No.
Workers' comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For myself included. You can't really see it on camera. Yeah, no, I got splashed. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Crime
And let me tell you,
I'm
that was
just like a
10 years
chain
ago,
reaction explosion.
like next month. I still have the goddamn.
Yeah.
My boss made me promise not to go to the hospital and shank him in his bed. I had to.
No jury would
promise.
convict.
That's a lot of
No jury would
self-restraint that
convict.
I don't know if I could have followed.
It's like he dropped a
No.
water bottle full of ice.
Dropped
in
cold
the
water
fryer.
and oil.
Free to go.
Understood, not guilty. Please enjoy your day. Would you like some money? Here. He don't need it anymore.
What did the... Okay, sorry. We have fully just got...
Wait, and I allowed it. Although, like, now I'm realizing I don't know if anything I could
did.
say coming up will be any more horrifying than this conversation has been.
Listen,
I mean,
real
I
life is
can tell
always
you
more
about
fucked up.
Abraham's
Guys,
good dreams again.
Please don't.
Real life is always
No.
going to be more fucked up than fiction.
No, we had the
That's
one.
true.
We had the one.
It's true. And I have so many stories.
How so many of your stories come with these disclaimers of, well, now this is still an operation business, or so many people are still under an NDA, so don't tell this story. Like,
It just makes them better, truly. This is
Okay.
insider knowledge, baby.
I explained to people that because of how and where I grew up, it is literally my everyday life is 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I know everybody and I hear all the damn stories.
And speaking of stories, we're going to
Hell yeah.
jump back into this one.
There you go.
Hey!
We got the
we get the
segue.
landing. Thank you, JD.
Segue.
All right, so the 4 of you, well, 16 of you, it's a confusing number at this point. There are a lot of you. currently in this room. Some of you have been awake for a while. Some of you have gotten a decent night's sleep. Some of you have even gotten a good night's sleep. But you all wake up in the hospital room you slept in, and nobody has come for you yet. There was talk of the police coming to take a statement about what happened to Mayor Marcus Hart, but nobody's knocked on the door. Nobody's come into the room. You've just been allowed to sleep for the full rest of the night and into the early hours of the morning. Anyone who looks at their watch, it's about 9:30.
So, can we just fuck off to get a decent breakfast, or do we have to make do with the hospital food since apparently the cops here are on their version of island time?
I mean, I suppose it might be a good idea to
Oh,
flight.
hi Christian, you're still here. Cool.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Bacon and eggs.
Hmm.
Yes.
I think waiting here sounds like not the worst idea. But allow me to counter with bacon and eggs.
You had
I'm
me
not
at
arguing,
bacon.
Rachel. I am in full agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I convince you?
We're on an island. They can find us if they need us.
Pancakes. Right.
Pancakes.
Okay. Right.
Pancakes. And little silver dollar ones. Chocolate chips.
While I appreciate this plan for breakfast, would it be more or less suspicious for us to leave?
We can sign
This
all
one
right.
town on this island, it's not going to be hard for them to find a bunch of outsiders.
I
Well-
have the feeling Mara is not exactly an outsider here.
He's not wrong.
Okay, then that should be more reassuring, right?
Well, no, let's talk. Let's real quick talk tactics, right? All right. So what do we want to do? Are we
Food.
are we food? Yes. Are we interested in sort of, do we want to play dumb or do we want to go for the throat? Do we want to, all right, maybe back it up. Do we want to play ignorant or do we want to act like we know what's going on? Now, the thing is, we're not ignorant. We also have no fucking clue what's going on. So, at this point, I think the best thing we can do for ourselves, in my own estimation, is sleep when we can sleep, eat when we can eat, and wait till somebody's back is turned to stick a knife in it.
All right. So I was with you on the
I
game
hate that
plan
analogy.
until that last part. I don't enjoy that last part. I do realize that it may become necessary, but I just wanted to vocalize that I didn't enjoy it.
I understand. I may be speaking a little more freely than I ought to. I may be a little, I don't know, riled up.
mean, that's fair. Do you want to know the weird shit I saw last night when I was trying to sleep, or you want to save that for breakfast?
Oh, child, I fear the things you see in dreams. You
Oh, this wasn't a dream. I had a hard time staying asleep. No, this was on our fucking television.
upsetting.
It
Is
was
that what that's
flickering
called?
in and out between static. Yes.
Yes.
It's television. I was seeing glimpses of Thurston doing some sort of, I don't know, lesson. It had a weird discount Sesame Street vibe that I did not like, and I hated it. I hate the words coming out of my mouth right now. So he's maybe still lurking. I don't know. He was already dead when you shot him. So like, can you kill a ghost? I guess not.
Sean's pretty sure you can. He came
I mean,
back
I love
too.
that idea. But
So
I guess we need something more. Mm.
I don't. All right. As much as I love talking about sticking knives in things, I don't actually think that's the, way to go about this. I think we're all going to think better after some breakfast. Now, what I think we should do is try and see what
Yep.
happens if we try and leave the hospital. See if they try and stop us. That'll give us some interesting information at the very least. If we can leave, if they stop us, who's there to stop us? Is it going to be Detective Winters? Is it going to be the whole police force? Is it just going to be some orderly being like, "Oh, are you signing out without doctor's orders?"
Better
Quick
not be Officer
pause
Dalton, I
on
swear to
that.
God.
Sorry, quick pause on that.
Mm.
Detective who?
Winters, yes. In all likelihood, a relation.
Well, if he's from here,
Oh,
then
that's
more.
right.
Sorry, they're from there. Her? If she? Oh goodness! I took in the pronouns and now I'm all lost. I'm all turned about. I'm sorry.
To the best of my knowledge, this Detective Winters is a he.
Okay.
To all indications, I
Right.
could be
Okay.
wrong, but to all indications.
Okay. He got it.
GD,
Yep.
I assume I had extra clothes in the secret shed. Or am I still in my pajamas?
I think you had spare clothes in the shed.
Okay. Because I remembered how we left the hotel suddenly, which was barely clothed. And yeah, just checking. Cool.
So are we all good with the idea of trying to leave? And yes, you'll
Yep.
see them. You'll see Detective Winters. Now you got me doing it. You'll
I'm
see
sorry.
him.
I didn't mean to.
It's all fine. It's all fine. We'll see him if we see him, and if we don't, that'll also be information.
I appreciate being included in this, considering my lack of knowledge, but I may need to know a bit more about young Mara, because I feel like I'm going to be asked some questions.
I don't know what
You could let him back out if you.
you might have to, because I gotta tell you, I don't know anything about Mara. I know they're a researcher. I know they're a scientist, and I know that what they say they're studying is fully a lie, or at least
Literally just
2/3 a
met them
lie.
last night.
But yeah, I just met him last night. So
No.
fair enough. Laryngitis. You got laryngitis.
No.
It's a problem.
Okay.
You can't say a dang thing. Too bad. Sore throat.
Do I sound different to her?
You sound very different.
Yeah.
You've got a.
There was a fire, the smoke inhalation.
I would just say that you can't talk. Your throat hurts. Oh no. We'll cover for you.
The people on the television, they are recorded like the radio plays.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
people
Yes.
record us? I have this word I know what a camera is. Do I have this image of recordings?
Yes.
I've been speaking to all of you in the halls.
Yes.
I
They
don't think
may not
hospitals have
believe
sound
me.
recordings.
It may not matter.
No, I think I know what you're talking about. We would not be able to help you with that either. But I would be very interested in anything you can tell me about these memories.
I must say I'm a little curious myself, but someone mentioned breakfast, bacon, and eggs.
Let's
And
have
I
this.
think we should come back to that conversation.
And pancakes and
Mhm.
coffee. All right, chickadees, follow
Cool.
me. I was a camp counselor,
That explains quite a bit.
right?
Rebecca was a scout too.
Oh yeah,
Really?
it does.
How how'd she go? How how'd she go in scouts?
Cadet.
Respectable.
Oh, cool.
They didn't recognize her talent. We pulled her out.
Hmm.
She wanted to be pulled out.
It's
You know what? Breakfast. I need coffee, or I'm gonna make more mistakes than I normally do.
I think Abraham's a morning person, and I hate this. I don't know how to play that.
I really hate that.
He's
Yeah.
almost pleasant right now. Like he's almost palatable, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
Speaking as a morning person myself, we're intolerable. We're the worst. Don't invite us on vacation.
I'm just currently stuck on whether or not I count as a morning person, but I'll figure that out as the four of you make your way out of the room. There were some concerns that you had expressed of, will the door potentially be locked in some way? Will we be prevented even from leaving this space? Nothing like that happens. The four of you make your way into the hallway. Highs or lows?
What the fuck are you rolling?
Lows.
Hi.
What do you mean highs or lows?
Della spoke first. Della spoke first, and I'm gonna actually put this to you, Della. It was low. It was a 1.
Okay.
Let's go.
Sick.
Do you want the good option or the bad option?
What do you mean?
My dude, I have full faith that no
Wasn't-
matter that if I pick the good option, it's gonna somehow loop back around. So I'm gonna go. I donated $25 for this. I'm going with the good option.
I respect that. I completely respect that. And the good option means the hospital looks just like it did the night before. It is well lit. It is full of, we'll say, the normal amount of people who would be in a hospital this early. Orderlies moving around, other staff members navigating reception, getting patients signed in, bringing them to the back, communicating with family members. It is the typical hustle and bustle, and had you not had the experiences you've had over, for most of you, the past 48 hours, for some of you, for longer, though these past 48 hours have been weirder than usual, you would think this was just a normal day. I mean, a little strange because you're leaving a hospital having slept here overnight, but this seems like the pleasant island town that you arrived in before things really started to get weird. And more notably, no one stops you. You head towards the exit, and there is no one to ask you where you're going. There are no police visible. You're able to just make your way out to the car where you left it and choose where you go from there. And the weather here has been variable, but it is a beautiful sunny morning.
I want to go back to the inn. That inn that had the good brunch. I want to go back to the inn with the good brunch where yesterday morning, Raven got us all high on pot brownies. Thanks, Raven.
Wow. Yes,
We appreciate you sharing the bounty. And also, I want a mimosa. I and
Mimosa
Rachel
sound
are
good.
white women in our late 30s. We exist in a constant state of wanting a mimosa.
Okay. As a gay, I too am in a constant state of wanting a mimosa.
The Bellinis for me, it's got to be a Bellini.
I do love a good peach, but an orange. I found mimosa. Put a little bit of lavender simple syrup in that bit.
Ooh.
Game changer.
Incredible.
JD.
I was gonna say I respect that this has become a cooking and food and drink
talk
recommendation
show.
stream in the middle of the psychological horrors.
Well, here's where the psychological horror gets back in. Would prohibition have been repealed by the time Abraham died? In 1933 is when it was
pretty
repealed.
Sure
and
I think it, because what's the murders, didn't we establish was like 34, 35?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's been having his drinks again. Okay, we're good.
There is so much to unpack in
He
all
stopped
of this with
having
Abraham.
drinks?
It was against the law.
He listens?
This man.
I mean,
There are
I'm sure he
literally
had some
tunnels
communion
under the
wine.
church. I'm sure there was bootlegging on this fucking island.
Sure, but that's illegal, and he is a God-fearing man.
Mm-hmm.
So he only had it
how
on
do you
Sundays.
think he funded Rebecca's education? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so I am just
Those are great
curious, who drives to this brunch spot? Just out of curiosity. That tracks. Rachel,
Abraham
you take
just
point.
hands the keys over.
I love all of you. I don't trust any of you behind the wheel of Weston's car. Let's be real, we're driving.
Oh, it's my car.
Oh, are we driving
Yeah.
Mara's car?
Yes.
It's Mara's car.
Okay. I actually feel way better about driving
Oh, is
Mara's
Weston
car
still
than
parked in
Weston's car.
the hotel parking lot?
Weston's car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
I
We're in
think
the
suitcase.
SUV.
I think Rachel is aware that if she like dinged a hubcap on Weston's car, her life would become much more complicated very abruptly.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a rental.
I was gonna say.
He got that good insurance. It's fine. Don't even worry
Okay.
about it.
All right. Okay. I'm worried about it. I'm worried
Okay.
about it.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
All right.
Whereas the kangaroo bar on Mara's car is dented.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
100%.
Beautiful. Yeah. Rachel probably gets into Mara's car, and like it takes probably a second for Rachel to be like, wait, this isn't my truck. Like is like already just like, yes, this is the correct way that things should be. This is a steering wheel that's the size, it's like this big, super thin all the way around, that old school style. There's cracks in the seats. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Platonic ideal.
So speaking of the car, I think this is something you don't immediately notice because you are thinking about brunch, you are thinking about getting food, you are thinking about all of pieces of the puzzle that you've started to collect. And you're just focused on getting on the road. And so I think it takes a few moments, and I would imagine it may be you, Rachel, who catches this. You had a man who was actively bleeding out in this car. There are no signs of blood anywhere.
I mean, he was in the truck bed. No,
We didn't exactly wash the car.
Mm-mm.
Is my windshield intact?
That's an interesting question. Yes.
Fuck. He touched my car. No respect.
In fact,
Okay.
there are no dents
Is that what brings Mara
from the
out?
accident.
The car.
Yeah, there are no dents, nothing from the accident. There are dents that were there before.
hey, Abraham.
Yes.
Mm. You got a real stentorian voice there, buddy.
Okay, I don't know what that word means.
You're stern and shit. When you're in there all riffling through Mara's memories, does she happen to have some kind of like really, really fucking good AAA kind of service? Or is this more, or are there profound shenanigans afoot?
Perfect timing. My cat just headbutted me.
I heard shenanigans.
He is shenaniganery, wrapped in 8 pounds of fluff. Ow, that hurt. Okay. JD, I know there's a crack now, but that's been locked. Mako, shush, you're fine. I swear, not a drop of husky in her.
That sounded pure
Yeah.
pitbull to me.
Oh yeah, it is pure pitbull. Pitiful pitbull. So I know there's a crack, but Abraham has very purposely been locked in a box for the 35-ish years that Mara's been alive.
Mm-hmm.
What does he know?
So my first question is going to be, how much is he going to push?
Well, now that's a crack. And he may have been referred to as a battle axe a time or two.
Roll with shadow.
I gotta fucking roll. I gotta quit talking, y'all. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Incredible. And I think that tracks in so many ways because there is that crack that has formed. And there is also a reason Abraham has not been allowed out in this way,
Mm-hmm.
and why there has been that separation. And I'm gonna first just ask, in pushing on that wall, what was the biggest question on your mind?
Who had the power to return the car to its condition prior to hitting the mayor?
And you lean on that wall. You try to get that information. You
Mm-hmm.
try to gauge what Mara knows, and I think you're a little uncertain of whether it is that Mara doesn't know this information or that they're choosing not to share it. They likely do have theories, though. They are a scientist, they are a doctor, of course.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Hello, Entropy Emporium.
Hi.
Welcome.
I hope
We-
New Vegas was fun.
Yes. I am terrorizing our lovely players with a car that has been miraculously fixed. Scariest thing that's happened.
Shenanigans.
Scariest thing
Chicanery.
since Abraham's good dream, which was very unsettling, and we hated it.
It was a nice dream.
You crucified your alternate identity.
You did. You did do that.
I did do that.
That did happen.
You sure did.
That-
I did do that.
Just I'm just gonna put it out there.
Cass, I'm gonna ask you a question that you can answer. I'm gonna give you the choice. Like, you can answer as truthfully as you want to, but I'm wondering, we've heard this question come up so many times. Who is Mara? And I think what I'm going to ask is not who is Mara, but what is it about getting close to them that makes Abraham instinctively recoil before he can get the information that he is looking for?
What makes Abraham recoil from Mara is suddenly realizing that he and Anna were not put in those boxes to protect Mara, that Gwydion put them in those boxes to keep them safe.
I love that. So, Abraham, you have no idea what force could have potentially restored this car to its state prior to the accident. There are options. It could be an act of God, though it does not seem
Mhm.
holy enough for that.
Yeah.
It could be this AAA that was mentioned.
Yeah, I think I was going to turn around and just look at Rachel and say, what is a AAA?
Roadside assistance.
Oh,
Folks will come out and
convenient.
fix your car. Yeah, it's quite convenient. It's quite convenient.
I don't know when Mara isn't talking.
Well, means I don't have to clean up any evidence, and I'm happy about that because there actually isn't any evidence to clean up because we drove the man to the hospital. Nobody's in trouble. No one's getting shot over this. Let's go get breakfast.
Why would we be shot over this?
Exactly.
You just like I envy the life you must have led. Let's go on.
And
And
the
I'm gonna drive
drive
us for
yeah.
breakfast.
And the drive is simple
Give
as
us breakfast, JD, I swear to God.
it is not a challenge. You are able to drive to get brunch. You are able to get there without any adverse events distracting you or dissuading you from this path, and you are welcomed and brought in and able to fill your plates to your choosing and settle down to eat brunch.
Yeah, Kai's getting coffee. He's also getting like a double espresso because he's gonna need to stay awake.
Is this like a buffet type brunch situation, or is this like a just order? Hell yeah. Okay. So probably against the better judgment of the, main wielder of this form. Um, Christian gets so much food. Like this is like Shaggy Scooby levels of piled high. Like he has so many pancakes, so many tiny pancakes just in a pile, and bacon and eggs, and then a bunch of different stuff that he's never even heard of. Apparently there's this food called eggs Benedict. You could I didn't know that they did breakfast like this.
Oh, right. Yeah, you had that depression thing going on. Yeah, they do a lot of food stuff now. Pretty cool,
I'm
actually.
so glad that, we got out of chest pie. And water. There were a lot of very specific baked goods and meals that came from that time that I am happy to see they left in the past.
You didn't like chess pie?
I'm happy for you
It's
and me
it's
that
fine.
too.
All right.
It's It's all right.
Tell me your
It's
opinion
that
of shoe
pie.
fly. Tell me your opinion of shoe
He
fly
was
pie.
working with depression ingredients, remember?
I just have a question. I have a question. Tell me your opinion on shoe fly pie. Everybody at this table has to tell me their opinion on shoe fly pie right now.
Uh,
It's very important to me.
okay. How do you feel about shoe fly pie?
It's my favorite damn pie. I have to forget I know how to make it. Otherwise, I'd eat nothing else. My teeth would rot out of my head.
Okay. I think shoe fly pie is great.
All right, all right. Well, I appreciate your political, your attempt at being,
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to tell you that I make it in some kind of special way. That it would be amazingly better than any kind you ever had, because I'm pretty sure I got it off the back of the molasses box like everybody else.
Oh, it is the molasses pie. I was like, why does it sound familiar?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's my dad's favorite pie.
it's literally molasses.
Yeah, it's molasses baked in a
Mhm,
pie shell and
mhm.
brown sugar. It's
Yeah.
molasses and sugar with molasses in it.
Right. It's sugar with sugar and need more sugar.
You should-
A couple of tablespoons of flour to
Sure.
bind it
Nothing
together.
wrong with sugar.
Yeah, okay. Now I will say
Hmm.
my meemaw shoe fly pie. Best thing I ever had in my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in that regards, I can agree that, shoe fly pie is very great.
I
A
feel
lot of
like that.
cherished memories.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad there was at least one that you had that you liked. That's good. It's always better when it's made by your mom.
I've never had it, so I'll have to take that recipe from you, Christian.
Sorry, I got distracted by the bacon. What'd you say?
I said I've never tried shoe fly pie, but before we get off this island, I guess I'll have to get the recipe off of you.
Okay. Well, you might need to ask the detective. I've been dead for many years.
Oh,
Um,
okay. No
I
worries.
I did give it to my wife.
Well, you were married.
Yeah, of course. Man of my age, you had to be married. Wife and kids.
This is why I got married.
Sir, there are times where you say things and I go, that makes a lot of sense.
Rebecca's mother was a lovely woman.
Mm-hmm.
What was your wife like? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah, she was lovely. She was real smart. Didn't take nothing from nobody. Uh, Real firecracker, that one. Um, yeah, she was great. Real understanding. Went to church every Sunday. And could make a mean spread. I'll tell you that. We didn't have much, but she could make do with, cup of flour, 2 eggs, and a dream. Um, and she forgave me of all the late nights of writing and newspapering, as it were. Listen to me ramble on when I had a new story that I was real interested in. If you have someone that you could live to see forever to the end of the road, she was the one.
Oh, that's really nice. She sounds awesome. She sounds wonderful.
Cass, I have an important question for you.
Yeah.
We all know that Christian tried to break the case,
Uh-huh.
that he failed, and that there were omissions that he was forced to make.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about that time, and especially when you're hearing Christian talk about sharing the pieces he was working on and writing with his wife, what goes through your head?
All the baskets of dreams I sent home with her so she could edit his stories.
What?
You can do a lot with 2 eggs and some flour. You can do a little more with dreams.
She was in church.
Every Sunday.
Hmm. And you were a beacon of the community. So you helped by making sure she had the accurate information.
Yes. Wouldn't do for rumors to leave the island.
And in contrast, I'm curious for you, Christian, as you reflect on that time of sharing those pieces with your wife, what stands out to you the most?
Hmm. I've gotten real good at telling the bold-faced lie that looks a lot like the truth. Evangeline was the perfect woman. Well, as perfect as one can be, this mortal coil, but we were a marriage of convenience for the two of us. I cared for her deeply, but wouldn't call it love. And so she was supportive and understanding when my late nights involved riding sessions with my journalist partner. And I do remember things not adding up near the end when I would write the stories, write my information, and then things would change. For the longest time, I was brokenhearted thinking that it was my partner. Turns out I'd been looking at the wrong one.
I'm going to have some follow up questions on this, but not for tonight, though I will be asking you to share more with me about that partner. I am going to ask just as we're going around the table, as we move into this final stretch of today's session. What is going through Kai's head as this conversation unfolds, especially while Kai is the one in control, as Rebecca is there somewhere in the background hearing her father talk?
Kai has been primarily listening, eating his food, drinking a lot of coffee, but he's just been kind of processing these sharing of stories about family life on the island and just hearing the way Abraham makes certain comments kind of makes him just a little like, oh, this I don't like this familiarity. Uh sounds a little too familiar to what someone I know went through. Don't. And I think this is just kind of he takes a moment while he's like taking a long drink of his coffee to just kind of feel out where Rebecca is in the back of his head. And he doesn't really find where, but he does feel her much smaller and is just hit with this sense of self loathing and loneliness. And I think it's probably the first moment where he feels a bit of sympathy for her.
And last but not least, Rachel has food. Food has been obtained. This mission has been successful.
Finally, my first successful mission in probably 15 years. It's been a minute.
What is going through Rachel's head in this moment?
Rachel spends a lot of time alone in her own head. And one of the things she likes to do sometimes is think about, like, what would life have been like if she just made a couple of different choices? Like, what if that first trip to Moscow, she really had just been a student? Sometimes she thinks about what would have happened if she met Grace at any other time, in any other place, in any other lifetime. Would she have had a child? It's hard in Russia, you can't, it's really hard in Russia, but maybe Grace could have come to the States, and it wasn't easy in the States at the time, but it's a lot easier now. What might have been? I think she's sort of caught here, having heard this story about how wonderful, you know, just seeing the good side of it, how wonderful Christian's wife was, and sort of wondering, what if she'd been a wife, mother? We've all got hooks deep stuck in our flesh, and sometimes we can't help but tug on them, even when we know it's going to hurt. That's what she's doing now.
And I think that makes perfect sense as well in the fact that you yourself have experienced 3 other people's lives and existences and felt what it's like to be in those roles, in those relationships, in those situations, some of which are familiar to you in ways, and others of which you could not imagine.
It's nice sometimes to feel the way James feels about Ivy, but that marriage was childless. And the other two never got a chance. I just like hearing about it.
Rachel, I would like you to roll with awareness.
Concerning. Ooh, that's a 12. Dirty 12. 2 5s.
Hey.
Once again, I love it when the dice tell the perfect story because even here, somewhat lost in some reminiscence, there are several pieces that intersect. There is that thought about how some of the others did not get to experience a full life, did not get to have all of those moments because things were cut short, either by circumstances or death. There is the fact that you are a highly trained professional and your awareness of the environment is automatic and reflexive. And there has been this almost needling piece of conversation from earlier. An offhand remark about how no one would be trying to take a shot at anyone. And that's the moment you're the one who catches a glint out of the corner of your eye outside of the window. And you know there is someone there with a sniper rifle who is lining up a shot.
On who?
Do you want to get the other people's info before I give my reaction?
You are the only person who sees this, and so you will react before anyone else has a chance to even register what is going on.
All right. Give me 1 second here. I am Rachel knows what to do, right? There's a window. We're sitting right next to a window. I see them lining up a shot. If we drop and get close to the wall, they won't be able to see us. Rachel by herself doesn't have that kind of like social standing. She's worked very hard to make herself. She's not that kind of person. She doesn't have a whole lot of raw charisma. But there's somebody in here who does. And so I'm going to roll with sociability real quick. Let y'all know. That's a 13, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no!
Give it to me.
For the
13 is oddly fitting.
For the insight fear roll.
Oh dear.
Oh.
For everyone to listen. When Rachel's face abruptly goes blank and all she says is, "Get on the floor, against the wall, now." And does so.
Done.
Drop.
Abraham
Yeah, dropped immediately.
hesitates.
What the fuck?
Abraham would hesitate.
Yeah.
He doesn't like being told what to do.
The 13? Is that a contested roll? Or?
Yeah, I don't know.
So what I'm gonna say,
I'm
if
rolling
we-
to intimidate. I don't have a way to actually command you.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can be intimidated and still hesitate.
Yeah.
Like,
And so I think actually that is perfect because
Yeah.
Who are they shooting?
Rachel,
Who are they
you
shooting?
well, not Rachel. You are able to get everyone else to cover except for the person they had the shot lined up on.
Yeah, I wondered.
It's obviously you. Yeah, it's definitely you.
Has to be me.
I don't have any time to say
Mhm.
anything else, do I?
Mm.
Oh.
And you see the moment.
This is a respectable establishment.
It sure was, but it's not going to be in 2 seconds because you see the moment the bullet goes right through Abraham's head. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Hey,
Damn
Hey.
shame. Crying shame.
Hey,
I will light a candle in front of his
Oh,
grave.
no.
Oh no, guys, I just
Hey,
died.
guys.
I was just shocked.
It's about to get really fucking
are you dead?
cool in here.
Like,
I guess
That
we're
that
gonna
was a
find out.
in this
headshot.
game.
Like,
Headshot.
I mean, I was about to ask if it was
So
head or
you
chest because JD.
Yes, Cass? Was there
I only
a
got 4
follow-up to
character
that?
sheets.
You do
roll up
only
4
have
more, I guess. Damn.
you do
Listen.
only have 4 character sheets.
And you just put a bullet through all 4 of them.
I sure did. Or did I?
Yep. Yep.
Or did I?
Hey. Where in the,
I'm,
like, was it
I'm-
direct or had he moved at all? And
I think it was direct because he hesitated.
what kind of
Because
bullet?
I'm guessing this was one of those tables in a corner because Rachel probably would not have put her back to a door, which means that he was probably sitting with his back to the window.
What kind of bullet?
Yeah,
Do
What
I-
kind of
that
bullet?
is very
do I
important.
know enough about bullets to answer that off the top of my head?
My dude, you
Oh,
can
his
say
face is gonna ruin our
normal.
eggs.
You can say normal, explosive, armor-piercing sandbag. Just go with those.
And yeah,
There's a whole lot of headings underneath all of those.
yeah.
Get it? Just
Normal.
just run with
Content
one of
warning:
those.
the
Normal.
exit wound
Normal.
size will matter.
Normal?
Normal bullet. Okay. So yeah, scrambled.
that's,
We've had a normal one here tonight. I think we can all
Have
agree
we?
that we've had a normal
Hey.
one.
hey,
John
Hey.
Kennedy treatment.
Hey.
Okay, like
I gotta be honest. For redacted, this was actually pretty normal.
Okay,
It
sure.
was.
Sure. For redacted, it was normal, but
only the
none of
second
it
time
is
someone's taken a
normal.
headshot.
Which is
Sure.
the point. You know what I mean? None of it's actually normal at all.
This is the first time an NPC
And for
has
Weston
gotten
and
a
Kai, this is
headshot.
not normal.
True.
It's the first
That
time
is
it's been
true.
in. Yeah.
So far, it's been PC work. So it's nice for them to have a chance. I'm
No.
sure it's fine. I'm sure it's just a flesh wound.
oh, it's not. I just have thoughts based on the limited information I've
over
been
the-
giving about what happens next.
You had thoughts. They're
They're gone now.
I mean, no, they're right there. They're on
They're on the table now.
floor,
They're on the
on the
wall. Yeah.
wall. Yeah.
Actually,
saying the
they're
writing's
on
on the
whoever was sitting across from me.
Yeah.
No, you know what? They're in the
Oh, we
mimosas.
dropped,
That's
so-
where they are.
Nah.
No, not the mimosas.
Oh, no, the pancakes. The
Mhm.
tiny
The
silver
pancakes.
dollar pancakes.
I gave you this beautiful breakfast spread and then I destroyed it, and I'm not sorry.
I'm just wondering if this would have happened at the hospital if we had chosen the other route. Like if the lows had not been low.
Cafeteria.
This is an affront to me and my person, JD.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
the
you for the
thank you.
follow.
Thank you for the follow.
I don't know where my wand is.
We're running out of breakfast
So-
plates.
Oh,
don't-
do I
I
have
don't know where
mine?
my wand is. So I would.
Lost the hotel we were
Here we go.
staying at. This place is now a crime scene. We have what? A couple diners in town?
My quill
Mm.
is too far away.
Yes, it's too far. Yes, I wish you a beach episode from Will. That's what I'm gonna say instead.
I already got one of those. I was there. It was awful.
I have
I mean, I
not
don't
had
know.
a
The next
single
game
good
is
beach
Season of
episode.
Secrets and Shadows.
Oh.
That is true.
Oh.
You know,
And
we
then
haven't done
class
a-
reunion, right?
Uh-huh.
We haven't done a TKC beach episode.
Thank you, Della.
Soren doesn't deserve
Della,
this.
you're a real one. You look so delighted.
Oh my
Maybe
god,
Maybe
you
we'll
guys,
do an old beach
you guys
episode.
can rescue Sepher and then have a beach episode.
The minuscule moment of panic that Jake very quickly covered up.
Sure I did. Yep.
Oh, I saw it.
No panic. No panic.
What the fuck?
Speaking of no panic, time to do outros, which I'm sure will panic no one. And that means you, Steph, are up first.
Oh boy. Hi, I'm Steph. I've been Kai tonight. No one else really, but that's fine. We'll see if someone has to jump out because breakfast is ruined now with trauma. You can catch me every other Saturday in our Regency flavored Monster Hearts game, A Season of Secrets and Shadows. Third season, Rhiannon's boyfriend seems to be committing to that villain arc, so we'll see if she gets to save him from himself for once. The track record is not good. You can also catch me over at That's with Live from the Apocalypse. You can also catch me over at Entropy Emporium every other Tuesday for our Horror Masks game, They Call Us Villains, where I play a sweet little doomed with superior teeth, and she doesn't know she's doomed. She's a perfect ray of sunshine, and nothing bad will happen. At all.
Correct.
Ever. To her.
Ever. Nope. I wouldn't worry. It's just a Horror Masks game.
Mhm.
And speaking of being in the Horror Masks game, Q,
She's
you are
got
up
superior
next.
teeth. She'll be fine.
Hi. It me. I'm Q. You can find me on the internet pretty much everywhere as Midnight Inc. That's Midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. I have a schedule. Things happen. So we'll go with in order of things that are occurring. Tomorrow, right? That is how days work, right, JD? Okay, tomorrow we will be going to table 1 of A Season of Secrets and Shadows, season 3. I'll be playing my angelic boy Dorian Black. You may have stabbed God, it's fine. On Saturday, I will be back here, like back to back to back on LFCA, baby. Class reunion, where I'm playing Kira. I am now also joining the cast. It's a permanent type gig, so we love. Sunday, I will be over at RPGs Uncovered playing Starcrier, Starcrier Conflict, where I'm playing Logan Uhura, who is having a time. We are running low on structure, gang. On Monday, I am going to be playing some Magic over with Kuretsuki on his channel, so check that out. And then coming up Tuesday is Nephilim Tenebris. Yeah. Where I'm going to be Captain Cassidy Starrunner, the pilot and overall flirt. He is so fun, and I love him so much. We started off spicy. It's only can only go up from here. You know what I mean? And of course, as Steph said, you can find me over at Entropy Emporium for They Call Us Villains, where I bring all of the sad, emotional damage, and I'm not sorry.
No, you are unapologetic.
Correct.
As you should be.
Correct.
All right, jumping down to Della.
Oh, hi, I'm Della. You can find me here every I did stuff. You can find me here every Thursday, where I will either be in this game or I will be in Never Ember's Enigma, where I am playing B, who is a completely normal halfling wizard. Not halfling, gnome. She's a gnome. She would be really mad if you called her halfling. Actually, that's disrespectful. Yeah, she's a wizard. She's fine. She's totally normal. She's not going to steal a giant rock tonight.
You said normal so many times that it lost meaning.
I mean, yeah, right? It's cool.
That's how that works.
That's how it works.
That's
Yeah.
how that goes.
It's called habituation. It's fine. That's also normal. But more sooner than that, this coming Monday, the 22nd, you can find me back here where I will be running Thy Kingdom Come, which is our theocracy game, our what if Percy Jackson was his Dark Materials campaign. And the gloves are coming off this season. It's gonna be fun. Our himbo Frankenstein has been kidnapped, and everything is gonna be great.
Not my sweet boy.
I know. They're going through it. They're everybody's having uncle trauma. It's
Oh my
uncle trauma
gosh.
time.
Mm.
Am I? I don't think that I count in that.
Does
No,
does
you're
Zeke
still
does
original
does
flavor daddy trauma.
yeah, your original flavor daddy trauma, but does Zeke abruptly becoming a massive tear in the fabric of reality qualify as uncle trauma? I mean, he's not specifically a family member.
I have so many questions that I'm gonna need to unpack before Monday session.
I'm just saying. You should
Oh,
tune in.
no.
It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be a time. And there might be a beach episode down
What
the
does
line.
the fox say indeed?
What did you just
Murder.
fucking say to me?
Wild.
So yeah,
I think I need to move that Kingdom Cup up the watch list.
You do. No, you absolutely
I do.
do, Cass.
we have fun.
I'm lost.
It's really
And Cass throwing the ball over to you. What do you have?
Oh,
going
throwing
on?
balls, not bullets?
You shoot someone one time, and then you're just accused of that constantly.
You literally had Della roll that awareness check, and I was like, oh, someone's rolling up to shoot us. And then you said it was a sniper rifle. I was like, oh shit, it's me. I'm the only one that makes sense.
Mhm.
I'm a problem for them. I have to be removed.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody saw my facial journey as I realized I was about to die.
Literally, I just need you to understand, Cass,
real,
that
for
one of my like 4 bullet points for tonight's session.
Bullet points. Bullet points.
Wow.
I don't regret
Really?
my life and choices.
Disrespectful.
One
Oh my
for
God, JD.
each of my ghosts.
Literally just says Mara going rogue needs to be neutralized.
Yep. Because I'm pretty sure it would have been fine if I'd gone to the TB ward and then not gone off grid. But then I went off grid
Mm-hmm.
to my
Nice.
secret little hidey hole that they don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they could have just had a conversation about, hey, where were you at? But no, we just had to resort to shooting.
No. And you got 2 weeks to make this work.
I know. I'm prepared. I have a plan.
Is it sticking me in the back to
You
tank
are?
next to Sophie?
Not necessarily, though that's not off the table. But I
Yeah.
have plans.
A new body crawls out, like
I expect
Gwydion
some
crawls out
DMs,
of the
okay?
remains.
I want them.
Oh,
full body
there
horror.
will be DMs.
All right. Anyway, my outro. I got distracted by the dying. I did not pull a march. There are no need for counting. I will be on your camera, on your screens next on Sunday over on Lost Caravan for Old Gods of Appalachia. JD, you remember Bryce?
My boyfriend.
Yeah, Bryce is coming back in a different way.
Zach Lagan's boyfriend is coming back without him?
Yeah, I'm sorry. In 19, we're doing the Old Gods version. We're doing the Old Gods version of Bryce. And then I will have time off, and then I will be back for Beacon on Lost Caravan on the following Sunday, the 28th. And then I will be running my very first session on stream over on Lost Caravan, I'm running a session of Outgunned, which it's the action spy thriller game. It's a dice pool system. It's very fun. I described it to my players as Suicide Squad steals from a muskrat.
Oh my god. Injected into my veins.
So Tuesday the 30th, I'm going to have a bunch of spies. We are going to be heisting a billionaire who has come into some goods, let's call them, and they have to retrieve them for a para-governmental organization. So, yeah.
That sounds
It'll be
fucking
great.
sick.
It's honestly, the character concepts are fucking hysterical. I've been like dying laughing. It's great. It's great.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's basically going to be Fast and the Furious in Dubai, whichever one that was. That I forgot the number. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one we saw in theaters.
That's iconic.
They drove the car through 3 skyscrapers.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
they
do
did.
remember that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to catch this mod. All right. Anything else, Cass?
I'm just back here on May 2nd, and then my May schedule is kind of up in the air because one of my besties is getting married. So I'm helping keep her brain calm because the in-laws are already here. So
That is fair.
Mhm.
All right. I am going to go through my outro as quickly as I possibly can, and I'm realizing I'm going to have to figure out who's even still streaming at this point because we got raided by so many of the people I planned to raid when we finished. The cool thing about going last is that pretty much everyone else has already thrown out the projects I'm involved in. So I will indeed be running a third season of Secrets and Shadows tomorrow night with the Friday table. I'll be back for class reunion on Saturday at 1 o'clock, not 11. And I will not be playing Hunter. So tune in to discover who I'm going to be playing because it's going to be an experience. I will then be with Exquisite Corpse Presents for a double D&D game day with Sister Cities that evening, back as my ghostly boy ghost. And then I will be here on Monday for Thy Kingdom Come. And all of the trauma that will inevitably unfold as a result. I will be with Lost Caravan, 8 o'clock on Wednesday for Nova, and I will be back here for Never Ember's Enigma, our heist game, on that Thursday. And then I will also have the other table of a third season of Secrets and Shadows, and I am also an Academy H. And I think, oh no, then I also have to acknowledge I also run They Call Us Villains over on Entropy Emporium. So those are the things that I'm doing right now, with another game that's in the works, probably premiering in late May, early June. But that's going to be a good one. That'll be over on Entropy as well. But I think that is it for me. As you can hear, we have a pretty packed schedule for LFTA over the next week. So tune in to all of those, including the ones I listed, the ones Q listed, and because it wasn't listed, a live recording of Cryptid Community College, our Monster of the Week podcast, as that will be happening next Wednesday. But I think with that, while I figure out who we're going to raid, it may be Lost Caravan. There's a good chance. It may also not be, because almost no one is currently streaming. We may just go dark at the end of this night.
Glyza's on.
We'll check that out. And
Okay.
I think with that, say goodnight, cast.
Good
Night, guys.
night.
Good night.
Good night.